The Craftsman is a patron who prioritizes teaching you the fundamentals of creating magical artifacts and creatures that stand out in the world. You serve as their apprentice and slowly acquire your magic due to your exposure to magic from their forge and the pact that you have sworn to be your master's apprentice. Examples of patrons for Craftsman Warlocks are as follows: Perforos, Hephaestus, and even Codlac Whitemane.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Luke's Homebrew. Today we are going over my newest release, the Warlock of the Craftsman. It just released on dmsguild.com. If you're interested, there will be a link in the doobly-doo. It should be way down at the bottom. Otherwise, this is a short little series where I go over my insights into creating the homebrew subclass and hopefully try and answer any questions you have. And if not, there will also be a link to my Instagram in the doobly-doo if you're interested. If I didn't answer your question, you can shoot me a DM and hopefully you can find the answer there. But let's hop into the video. So starting with your expanded spell list, first level you have Burning Hands and Identify, two very just thematic spells. Second level you have Dragon's Breath and Heat Metal, yet again thematic. You're going to see that as a common theme. Meld into Stone, Tiny Servant at third level. Fourth level is Conjure Minor Elementals and Fabricate. And fifth level, Animate Objects and Holy Weapon. I don't think those need any further explanation. They're all very thematic spells. I don't see any as game breaking or whatnot. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on them. I think they're just very neat expanded spells to be added into the Warlock subclass. But let's move on to your first level ability, Student of the Forge. You are an apprentice of a legendary craftsman whose forge is known throughout the world. By signing on as their apprentice, you have given some of the latent magical effects and knowledge encompassing the forge. You gain expertise in forging tools and tinkerer's tools, and when investigating any form of craftsmanship, you have advantage on any intelligence history check made to know how old it is, who made it, and automatically know what material it is made of. That very simple and bare bones. The last ability is very, I would like to say, very niche, but it may be useful to any resourceful player who maybe already has a background in this, or is very interested in this and is like a machinist or already works in a forge in real life. That kind of has some background knowledge and might be able to work that around, or if the DM has that kind of knowledge as well. Otherwise, it can probably be a niche situation, but the main ability really is gaining expertise in forging tools and tinker's tools. Those are a fundamental not capstone, but requirement for this class to really pop off as a really good Warlock of the Craftsman. But other than that, simple bare bones. I don't think it needs any more explanation. So let's move on to your 6th level ability, Practiced Artisan. Beginning at 6th level, you have become adept at crafting your own tools. If you have Tinker's Tools, you may spend 1 hour and 10 gold pieces worth of supplies to craft any other set of tools, including Thieves' Tools, Brewing Supplies, Alchemist Tools. Additionally, if you were to craft a mundane weapon or set of armor, it costs you half the usual cost of supplies. Very simple. Yet again, we're not really pushing towards any magic at 6th level, as really a 6th level Warlock has 2 spell slots and is still really focusing on mainly Eldritch Blast as their main hand cannon. But this is allowing you to work outside of combat and be able to make things and perhaps start earning some money for the group. That's what this ability is for. It's meant for the players to work outside of combat and really earn some money and really like start setting up the party with some good gear, get everyone fully equipped, and that's kind of where they earn their place. But 10th level is where everything really gets interesting. The Armory of Mysticism. So beginning at 10th level, you have gained a measure of magical knowledge to place temporary enchantments on weapons or armor. As a bonus action, you may touch a weapon and instill magic in it and cause it to be unnaturally sharp for 1 hit or until the next long rest. On the next hit, the weapon deals an extra amount of damage equal to your charisma modifier. If you touch a set of armor, the wearer gains a number of temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier until they are lost or until the next long rest. You may use this ability a number of times equal to your charisma modifier per long rest. So I'm a big fan of this ability, and it took me a very long time to meticulously balance it as it's set up, but I really like where it is. So you can target both yourself or your allies, or even an NPC, it doesn't matter. And the amount of extra damage you deal is awesome. It's per one hit or lasts until you take your next long rest. And temporary hit points, same rules as normal temporary hit points, but now you get to buff the wizard, or you get to buff the fighter before they go into combat. So this class is really about supporting your teammates, and I hope I get that message across. But at the same time, you can go gung-ho and touch your sword every turn as a bonus action and get to deal an extra 20 damage, considering you have... No, an extra 25 damage considering you have a +5 in charisma and you got 5 uses of it. So it's really, really, really good. At least in my opinion, I really like it. But let's move on to 14th level, Forge of Fire and Fame. At 14th level, you have mastered working on mundane forges and learned to create your own magical forge. You may spend 7 days working, enchanting, and building your own personal forge. To do so costs 1,000 gold pieces worth of diamond dust, and upon crafting this forge, you may... Now, there's a series of different abilities, but before we move on, yes, this is something that takes the time. It's not an ability you immediately get, but it pays off. So don't be disenchanted by the fact that it takes you 7 working days, because that can get done like that. Snap of the fingers. DM says you have 7 days of downtime. Perfect. And 1,000 gold pieces worth of diamond dust is about 1 revive. So I don't think the upfront cost for this ability is very hard. Honestly, the most painful ability of this, or factor of this ability, is the fact that it requires it to be in a set location. That being said, you can go build a second one, or proceed to make more. But this is really to cement yourself as like, this is the party base, and this is where we go to do things, because this is where my awesome ability resides. So, upon crafting the forge, you have learned to craft small golems, and we'll get to that, that aid you and your allies. Crafting one requires 7 workdays and 100 gold pieces worth of components. You may have a number of golems equal to your charisma modifier at a time. We will do that at the end. I got its very own stat block. It's on its own second page of the PDF. You may cast the Resurrection spell on a target within 10 feet of the forge. Upon doing so, you may not use this ability for another 7 days. It's just awesome. You can cast Resurrection once per 7 days. Just don't let 2 of your allies die. Third ability, you may craft magic items of any rarity except for artifact in half the normal enchanting time. Doing so requires you to work alone for the full duration of the enchanting period. So, verbatim, you can just make legendary magic items here. Downside is it requires downtime and for you to get the components, but that is a very huge ability. It's like you're literally working at double speed. And the only reason for that last little clause at the end requires you working alone is to make sure that if you had someone else working with you, say another NPC or maybe one of the other players is also a Warlock of the Craftsman, they can't take your crafting time down to a quarter by helping you. It's just a balancing issue, but that was the reason for that. However, let's go ahead and move on to the stat block. So the Forge Golem is a small construct. It has no alignment. It is neutral. Its armor class is 8 plus your charisma modifier. Its hit points is 30, and it has 3d6 plus 5 hit points, or hit dice. Its speed is 25, 13 strength, 12 dex, 19 constitution, 1 intelligence, 12 wisdom, 2 charisma. Its conditioned immunities are charmed, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned. Its proficiencies are in forge tools and tinkerer's tools. Its passive perception is 11. It knows common. Its challenge rating 1. as a death throw, so when this creature hits 0 hit points, each creature within 5 feet must make a dexterity saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC, or take a damage equal to your charisma modifier. And then it can make a claw attack if it wants, dealing 1d6 plus 2. So, very simple guy. You can make a number of these equal to your charisma modifier once you create your epic forge. And you can either take these into a dungeon with you, or you can have them set up in the smaller forges around you, working on various different projects. Maybe you can use these guys to set up a business for you. They're not very intelligent, so you probably have to give them very direct instructions, but nonetheless, they could help you ease the workload and perhaps make an extra bit of coin on the side. But other than that, I hope this guide was useful. If you have any questions, like I said, my Instagram will be in the doobly-doo below. Just go ahead and shoot me a DM. I normally try and get back to you as soon as possible. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching all the way to the end, and have a good one.